Thank you very much for having me on this distinguished forum today. I would like to speak about the current Turkish foreign policy. Of course, when we are looking at the recent developments in the region, of course, we cannot disregard what is happening here in Israel and, of course, in the Gaza Strip, in the Levant. And therefore, we can truly say that the war in the Gaza Strip, Hamas's brutal attacks against Israel on the October 7th last year caused tectonic changes in the relationships between the countries in the region, especially when we are looking at the Israeli-Turkish relations. We really see the huge difference between the period that came before the war, and of course the post-war situation is very, very different. I only would like to remind just a month before the war in the Gaza, we all happened to see a very important summit in New York between the Turkish President Erdogan and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But only after a month, we all happened to see an unprecedented deterioration in the relations because of the war. As far as I understand, the Turkish side could not understand and could not foresee what were the consequences of October 7th for Israel. For the Israeli society, sociologically speaking, as the nation state of the Jewish people, which means that as the nation state of the people who were very much traumatized by the Holocaust, seeing such brutal acts, of course, everything unfortunately were recorded. The Hamas's atrocities in the Israeli towns were all recorded. So Israel could not digest, Israel could not tolerate this threat, and at last the Israeli government came to the conclusion that Hamas is constituting an existential threat for the state of Israel, and as a result, instead of initiating a limited war, the Israeli government initiated a full-scale war in the Gaza Strip, and at this point, I think the Turkish government missed the understanding of the Israeli policymakers. In the beginning, they thought that it was a limited war, but then they understood that it's a full-scale campaign against Hamas to topple it, and therefore they began to adopt a very pro-Hamas, if not pro-Palestinian stance against the state of Israel. And since then, we all see that the fundamentals of this foreign policy is mostly focusing on one thing, to Israel's failure. The Turkish decision makers are doing their best to see that Jerusalem would fail in its full-scale war against Hamas. They are doing their best to weaken Israel's hand in the international arena. We are seeing that Turkey sues Israel in the International Court of Justice, taking part in South Africa's lawsuit against the state of Israel. And we are also seeing this very important shift of policy vis-a-vis Israel when the Turkish Foreign Ministry openly declared their intention to act as a guarantor for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Of course, as far as guaranteeship is concerned, I assume that all of our audience is very much familiar with the concept when it comes to the Cypriot conflict, because of the guaranteeship agreements that were signed in 1960. Later, Turkey initiated a military intervention in Cyprus in 1974. In other words, after October the 7th, with this shift in the Turkish foreign policy, we see it, in a very blunt manner that Turkey is also declaring its desire to its readiness to intervene in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, even in military terms, which should, of course, ring the alarm bells in Jerusalem regarding Turkey's aspirations vis-à-vis the state of Israel. So, of course, Israel is not the only dimension here. When we are looking at the Eastern Mediterranean at large, Turkey is feeling still very much concerned of this rapprochement between Cyprus and Israel, and of course with Greece. Therefore, also in order to uh, distant Greece, especially from Israel, Turkey nowadays is making this rapprochement vis-à-vis Greece, and also it should not be forgotten that the F-16 deal with the United States is also a kind of a precondition in this matter. If Turkey will not have proper relations with Greece, United States would not provide these F-16s to Turkey. And besides that, Turkey is also seeking to strengthen its relations with Egypt and even with the Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. Nowadays, in the Turkish press, there are many news coverages, news reports that the Syrian dictator will be willing to initiate a direct negotiation with the Turks, even if the Turks will not going to withdraw their troops from northern Syrian territories. So, long story short, what we are seeing is Turkey is trying to normalize its relations with all of its surroundings, including the latest normalization deal with the Iraqis, where they are going to use this Bashika military base jointly. It means that the Turkish armed forces will stay in the Iraqi territory in a permanent manner. And but the only problematic approach is only against the state of Israel at this stage. And even the Turks are using this problematic situation with the state of Israel to strengthen their ties with the Iranians. For instance, when Israel assassinated an Iranian general next to the Iranian embassy in the Syrian capital of Damascus, for instance, on that occasion, Turkey supported the Iranian retaliation against the state of Israel and blamed Israel for the escalation. And long story short, we can also say that the quality of the Israeli-Turkish relations are also going to have a huge impact on the American-Turkish relations. I believe that until the end of Joe Biden's current term, I do not foresee a very important improvement in the Israeli-Turkish relations. But I believe if Donald Trump will be elected as United States' new president, then Turkey may soften its stance towards the state of Israel. I believe that Donald Trump's administration will be more, how should I say? Donald Trump's administration would be willing to engage even more in the Middle East in favor of the state of Israel. But since it is a pragmatic actor, I also believe that Trump administration will be less critical of Erdogan government, and therefore we may see an improvement in the U.S. Turkish relations, which also may reflect in some way to the improvement of the Israeli-Turkish relations. With this opportunity, I also would like to speak about the Turkish penetration in Africa. Recently, I penned a very comprehensive article for the Israel-Africa Relations Institute. And in a nutshell, I can tell you that the Turkish penetration in Africa, of course, started in Somalia. The Turks inaugurated their biggest military base in the world outside of Turkey, of course, in the African capital of Mogadishu, the Somalian capital of Mogadishu. And we know that they are providing arms and also training to the Somali army. And recently, the Turkish government and the Somalian government they signed hydrocarbon exploration deals. And most probably, in the very near future, we may hear some news regarding their discoveries, which may change the whole picture in the Horn of Africa in a very significant manner. Recently, also, the two countries also signed a military partnership agreement so that the Turkish Navy is also conducting some patrols in the African shores. And if in addition to all these, I also would like to divert your attention to the Somalian and Ethiopian disagreements regarding Ethiopian government's desire to use the Somaliland territories to have a bridgehead in the Red Sea, in the Gulf of Aden. And in this regard, the Turkish Foreign Ministry is acting as an important bridge between the two countries. Last month, the Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan hosted both the Somalian and the Ethiopian foreign ministers in Ankara to find a common ground between the two countries, meaning that not only Somalia, but also Ethiopia, which is considered as a very important client, customer of the Turkish Armed Forces and Baykar, the Turkish UAV producer. These also Ethiopian administration is also giving a very high importance to its relations with Turkey. And as a result, not only Somalia, but also Ethiopia recognized Turkey's authority and domination in East Africa. And as a result, Turkey can act as a mediator between these two nations. And if it's not, sufficient, we can also speak about Turkey's penetration in Libya. And since 2019, beginning with 2020, we are seeing an active participation of Turkey in the Libyan civil war in favor of the government of national accord. Today, Western Libya is still under Turkish influence. And if it's not enough, Turkey recently also penetrated into the Sahel region, especially to Niger, seeing the American and the French withdrawals as a historic opportunity. Nowadays, the Turks are offering the Niger government to realize the same Somalian model in this country. According to some news sources, Turkey's penetration in this country is also related with Turkey's desire to provide uranium to its nuclear program that will definitely decrease Turkey's dependency to Russia. We all know that Turkey's first reactor in the Mersin province is built thanks to the Russian know-how and technology, and most probably the uranium, if it will be delivered there, it will be the Russian uranium. So, of course, these are raising concerns regarding Turkey's nuclear program. But the Turkish government's mouthpiece, Directorate of the Turkish Directorate of Communications, of course, in a not surprising manner, they all rejected all of these claims regarding the nuclear skepticism, again, on Turkey's aspirations in the region. So, long story short, when we are looking at large, we should also speak about Turkey's growing soft power abilities in the region, not only the Red Crescent and other Islamic humanitarian non-governmental organizations. We are also seeing that the Turks are providing their humanitarian aid. The Turks are providing their infrastructure. And also, let us not forget that there is a very important air bridge between Turkey and these countries, the African countries, with Turkish Airlines. When you're looking at Turkish Airlines penetration, the ability of penetration into Africa, you can be astonished. They are almost flying to every single African country. Maybe they are not flying to 3 or 4 countries, but to all countries they are flying almost. And it is also, when you're looking at this map, you'll also see the Turkish diplomatic abilities are also very impressive. The Turks inaugurated more than 50 embassies in whole European continent. They are engaging more and more with business circles with the local African countries. And of course, when they are doing it, they are combining it with the humanitarian aid, and they always tend to emphasize that Turkey had no colonial past, unlike the French, for instance, in the continent. And the most important weapon of Turkey in this regard, I think, it's the culture of respect. Turkey is respecting its counterparts. Turkey is not looking from above to these countries, and Turkey is treating them as equals. Okay, so in my opinion, the most important efficiency of the Turkish foreign policy in Africa, especially, is coming from this sociological behavior. Turkish penetration in Libya was carried out only at first, of course, to secure the Turkish thesis in the Eastern Mediterranean against the Republic of Cyprus and Greece. For those who are not familiar, according to the University of Sevilla map, which is recognized by the European Union as the map of the Eastern Mediterranean exclusive economic zones, there is a geographical contiguity between Greece and Republic of Cyprus. However, Turkey is not recognizing this map. By the way, this map is based on the the United Nations Convention Law of the Seas. Turkey is not a signatory of this convention, and therefore Turkey is not recognizing the existence of islands' continental shelves, meaning that Turkey does not recognize the Greek Aegean Islands continental shelves, and of also the island of Crete. Since it's an island, it is not considered in Turkish eyes that they have a continental shelf. Long story short, when Turkey is not recognizing the UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention Law of the Seas, and the map of the University of Seville, it is expanding its naval territories in an unprecedented manner, which enables it to be a neighbor of Libya via sea, okay? Of course, at the expense of Greece and Republic of Cyprus. In 2019, Turkey signed a maritime delimitation agreement with the government of national accord of Libya, and to make this agreement survive, Turkey intervened militarily in this war. And today, even if we are talking about a single government in Libya, we still know that Libya is a fragmented country. Turkey still maintains its dominance in the west of Libya, thanks to this government of national accord elements who are still in the Libyan government. And I'm sure that since Turkey is also trying to penetrate into Niger, which is located just south of Libya, and it's a landlocked state, if you would like to invest in Niger, you are not going to endanger all of your new investments there unless you will have a direct access to Libya. It means that if Turkey will going to increase its investments in Niger, inevitably it has to strengthen and deepen its dominance in Libya further. And therefore, we are going to see more and more Turkish penetration, more and more Turkish influence and military presence in Libya, also in the very near future.